Hi everybody, my name is Paul Della. I'm with Cold Chain Technologies. I'll be kicking off this Innovation Zone session. I'm wearing a very brightly colored coat today because I wanted to distract everybody away from the snacks and other things going on, so I hope it's helping. What we're going to be talking about today in this first 10-15 minute session is a little bit about how we're looking at smart packaging as an ecosystem. For those of you who don't know, Cold Chain Technologies is a thermal packaging organization. We've been around for the better part of 30 years, servicing the life science, clinical, diagnostics, as well as some other industries as well. My name is Paul Della, and I run our digital solutions and services group. So the way I want to start this topic off today is to really pose a question to the group, and that is, what is smart packaging? This term's been kicked around the industry a number of times. We've heard it come in and out of fashion, for the last maybe 10, 15 years in different forms or factors. So to get into this, the first way is I pose this question. Smart packaging 5 years ago was it just putting a temperature monitor in a box, adding GPS, wireless connectivity, other sensors or other pieces of information? It evolved over time where people started to say, is it, adding systems, simulations, adding logistics information in there, proactive monitoring. And it really started to depend on people on, really why would you do that? Are people looking at smart packaging as a business process improvement tool? Are they looking at smart packaging as a way to mitigate risk within the supply chain? Or is it a way to really use smart packaging as a way to move away from other modes and start to use that for process and product release? And what I say to people, and I think this would be the same if I asked every single person who's listening right now, why it would be dependent on their supply chain. If you ask 5 people sitting here what smart packaging is to them and why it matters, I'd probably get 5 different answers. And for that matter, 5 different good answers. But it really does matter when you're looking at how to look at a smart package and an ecosystem around it on the drug stability that you're shipping. We just listened to a great talk before here on personalized medicine. Drug stability for personalized medicine is very different than drug stability for an established large molecule product or a small molecule product. The criticality of the shipment. If you're shipping just in time to patients, or if you're shipping bulk product and have a large supply of inventory, your end destination impacts how you look at packaging and the way that it needs to interact with your supply chain. The known lane risk. Shipping from the United States to London is a pretty straight lane if you're going from New York. There are great service providers who manage that. But if you're shipping into Lusaka in Zambia, that's an unknown supply chain for a lot of people. That is something that has additional risk and different ways to look at it. And then the last thing is really a dependency of your supply chain. What are the risk factors? What available data do you have to look at that lane? And then what cost constraints are you working in? Because all of those items really do matter when identifying that ecosystem. So the way that we start to look at smart packaging and the way as a packaging organization we've seen this evolve is that interconnectivity of all of those two systems really does drive a level of intelligence. Everybody has data. I've heard people come out and say, I have 10 million data points within my supply chain. If you can't turn that into useful intelligence or useful information to make yourself better, that's not really a terribly useful amount of information to have. And for a packaging provider, those interconnected systems, the logistics providers, those other places really have impact in how the intelligence in our box impacts our customer supply chain. For us, understanding those signals, logistics, operations, ERP systems, TMS systems that have this information that's driving through, all can feed into an ecosystem to help get us better, smarter, and help understand our supply chains better. And what we're seeing more and more is the need to interconnect with other vendors in the space. When I came into this industry, the better part of 15 years ago, the monitoring companies, which is where I came in, worked in their own little silo of data. The packaging companies were in their silo. The logistics companies moved shipments around, and we very rarely talked to one another. What we're seeing now as the industry evolves and things matter, we're forced as vendors to really start to interact together and interact in a way that improves the supply chain for our customers and eventually the end patient. And that's really what we have to focus on as a community of vendors and a community of people that are working together. To that point, integration and partnership within this supply chain to build these ecosystems is far more important now than we ever have. We have technologies that really allow us to gather all of the different datas in supply chain and turn it into useful information, the ability to build systems that do that is very important. We focus on, when we're looking for partners, and we're looking, whether it's in the logistics or monitoring space, and I mean, I can see great partners of ours sitting right in this room from this view, is that we need to be agnostic to that. I have organizations that have qualified in data loggers and they want to continue to use those. We work with different logistics companies every day. Having systems that allow us to interchangeably work with those partners, improve our customers' value prop, and allow us to access all of that data in different ways. I throw this out there specifically for people who are shipping in the pallet world. How many times have you shipped a pallet shipper that has an integrated device on it, but you're still putting in data loggers of your own validated system on top of it? It's wasteful. It's adding additional information that isn't connected and not adding value to the supply chain. So for us, it's very important to work with our partners in the manufacturing space to make sure we're able to integrate the technologies that add value to their supply chain. And with that, our ecosystem can grow and that capturing of data starts to really turn into intelligence. The reason why we push this and the reason why we do this and talk about ecosystems being important is I think these three things really are true for everybody's supply chain. They're getting more complex. There's more offerings, there's more movements, there's more ways to do things. There's more uncertainty, whether it's companies going to just-in-time demand, there's companies to diversifying the air freight into sea freight and other modes, or whether people who are going through distributors now and want to start to go to direct. That uncertainty on complexity is making it harder, and all of those things raise costs. So the best way to handle that is to really start to build in systems that can synthesize that information, provide intelligence back to you to help drive all of those items down and eventually get safer product to our patients at a lower cost within the industry. So I'm moving pretty quickly here to get to the crux of what we're doing. This is an innovation zone. We want to show a little bit about what we're doing. So what I want to show here is the way that we approach this from Cold Chain Technologies. This is our smart solutions platform. This is our digital interface to the world and the ecosystem that we've designed to interface not just with our customers, but also within our partners and the other vendors that are working in the space. And we really worked to bring our technology to focus on three main areas for our customers. Tools that help our customers plan, shipping and tracking tools that integrate within our partners, and then tools that really help our customers and partners optimize and improve their supply chain. Where we're going to focus on some of our technology today is really our fleet shipping app, which is tied really to our reusable shippers, but we also use for our single-use shippers and some of our other items. And it's really focused primarily on the technology we have for our parcel business. And the first signal that we bring into our system is actually from our customers, and it's their inventory control. We can track what we've shipped to our customers through integrations with their ERP system, what they've shipped outbound, where our packages are, and help them have a better understanding of what's happening in their supply chain. Furthermore, from that high-level summary view, we can really dive down into individual packages, and from there, tie in with our logistics vendors and start to pull in the signals from their supply chain. And that would be from this end. This is very focused on the parcel world, looking at where shipments and how shipments move within the parcel network. This is information that's readily available. We've all had something shipped online to our house where we track things in this way. It's readily available information, but the important part is to start to take this and then tie it in with companies like our monitoring partners, like Tive over there, who we've integrated with, Tech4Med, Sensitech, Adapt, Elpro, and start to take the information that we have in here and overlay it with our logistics data. So you're not just understanding where your package is, but you're understanding the moves within those milestones, the impact of temperature at each milestone within that system, and having the ability to dive into that information, look at specific points of your supply chain and understand where there are peaks, valleys, or other parts that are impacting how your shipment moves. The other thing that we find very important with this is the ability to take these interfaces and actually pull down and connect with other systems. So when we integrate with our system, we don't try to replace a monitoring platform or another system. We really try to provide an interface in where we can pull from validated systems, pull from our partner systems that have been brought in, but display and use that information in conjunction with our own. Where that really starts to turn for us and where we are really able to start to add additional value is to take that information and start to overlay it with the data that we have from a packaging provider. This, what we're showing right here, is actually a live ambient temperature profile from the shipment that we sent in this one. And the interesting about this shipment is we're not tracking temperature on the outside of the box. The temperature profile we're able to collect here actually comes from weather signals and other information that we have from the supply chain, whether we can garner if the box is in the air, within a pharma facility, whether it's out on the road or in a truck. And for this matter, this allows us to really start to understand not just what's inside the box from the data logger, but how our box is going to perform now or potentially even in the future. And that right there, that level of intelligence pulling in our logistics data, the current data from the temperature monitor, and what we have in the supply chain allows us to give a customer view of what their risk actually looks for in the shipment. So we can not only predict with a shipment when it's going to arrive from our logistics provider, we can identify how much longer that box has within the supply chain, its potential risk of failure, and then how much thermal energy that box has at the end. Now, this shipment went over and it was about a 14-hour shipment. And what you'll note from this screen is there was 75% of the shipper's life left. What that means for me as a box provider is I can go back to my end customer and say, we have an over-designed package here. Let's make this lighter. Let's maybe move to a more sustainable shipper. Let's move to something that drives down your cost and drives up your ESG goals. This information is really where we can take all of the data in the system and start to turn it into intelligence to improve the supply chain. And this is really where we think that we can add value. So from our end, from a smart solution standpoint, and I went rapid fire in there, so I hope there's some questions in after this. The way that we look at this is really that this ecosystem, this ability to connect with partners and vendors, is how the supply chains for the pharmaceutical world are going to get better. And this is really how our system can help do that. Whether it's information coming in, us pushing information out from an API standpoint, this is really where we see the system going and moving from a pharmaceutical supply chain standpoint to get to a point where we're continually getting better, removing risk and removing cost for our customers. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the view of Smart Solutions. I went through pretty quickly here, so I do have some time for some questions. If there are any other ones, you can visit us at booth 68, talk a little bit about our systems, talk with our tech support group. And I was gonna say, come and get a beer, but I think everybody drank it yesterday, and I don't know if they went back and got other ones. So, we have more beer. Please come and join that. So that really covers what I had today. I went through it pretty quickly because we were kind of moving, but if there are any questions or comments from the audience, be happy to take them before I step away and let the ION team come on and have a quick talk themselves. I'll take it as a win. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.